Hey, I'm Dark Steel, and welcome to another Prepper Friday, Prepper Rant. Be sure and stick around to the end of the video, where we will have a Prepper Tip of the Week brought to you by Mason McCartney. So yeah. Okay, so today's subject is navigation. I don't care whether you have a plan to bug in, bug out, whatever your plan is, prepping should be about contingencies. Prepping should be about planning, then making another plan, having plan A, plan B, plan C, plan all the way through Z. Like, make sure that you've got a plan for when your plans change, because they're probably going to. Don't be dumb and just assume that your plan's going to work. You've probably realized that real life happens, and that in real life, things change constantly that change what we had planned. Always have a backup to your backup to your backup to your backup, and part of that should be focused in on basic, what am I going to do next for navigation? How am I going to find my way if I find myself in a situation where I don't necessarily know where I am or where I don't know where to go? Our plan here is to bug in, and so our plan is just have everybody gathered here, and then we've all got jobs we're going to do. If air raid sirens start going off and the world is just collapsing in on itself, what each person's supposed to do, what their responsibilities are, so we can run into full, close down, lockdown mode. Okay, and what happens if all of us go off for the day and, Christmas party, or what happens if we all are away from this place when that stuff happens? Then we can't all scramble to do our jobs, and this place is left vulnerable, we're left vulnerable, we're scattered all over the place, we don't know what to do. I mentioned this a little while back, and it was kind of a moment when we all realized that that was a major flaw in our plan. Was that if our plan was for us to all be here when the unexpected happens, then we have to all be here all the time, or our plan doesn't work. So that's a minor detail that makes a massive difference. And that's where we all have to have a better plan of kind of how to wing it in those situations, how to improvise. And a big part of that, one of the first steps, and it's not the only step, it's not even close to the only step, but one big thing that will help with that is a basic understanding of navigation. You should always have a basic concept of how to kind of MacGyver the situation and figure out what you're doing. And I think that varying levels of cartography, varying levels of other just basic navigation understandings can help a lot in that. So my first tip for you is to know your surrounding area. Know where you're going to be at all times. Know how to get back to where you need to be. So this is basically just on the concept of you know where you're supposed to be, but you realize you might be somewhere else. Know your surrounding area. Study it up. Learn so that you've got it. And I think this should be common sense for anybody. Is just kind of know where you are at all times. Don't let yourself be somewhere where you don't know where you are. It's as easy as, and I know many of you already know this, but also just always have this in mind. Always know where your escapes are. When you go into a new place, when you go into the store, know where all of the fire escapes are. Know where your nearest escape is at any time, because you might need it. We live in a world now where mass shootings and all kinds of crazy stuff happen on a common basis, and we need to know how to get ourselves out of those situations, but then also just kind of mentally map out the route between you and where you need to be. Okay, anyway, if your plan is to go from where you are to a bug-out location, which in my opinion is the only plan, because if your plan is just to wander around, then that's not really a plan. So, if your plan is to go to a bug-out location, I still don't think that's a great plan. I think you need to figure out a way to just be where you're going to be, because traveling is dangerous. Traveling is dangerous now. Traveling becomes way more dangerous in a chaotic SHTF situation. So, traveling, bad idea. But we're going to have to travel sometimes, and it's better to have that plan in place. Having that said, the idea, you should definitely know multiple routes You should absolutely know multiple routes to get there. If your plan is to go here, then here, then here, then here, and that's how you get there, and that's the only route you know, what happens if this doesn't work anymore? You need to know multiple routes, several ways to get to the same location. From point A to point B in a bunch of different ways, so that you know if this doesn't work, you've got another way. Now, my preferred form of prepping is prepping for rebuilding society. Not so much the prepping for bushcraft, not so much the prepping for immediate survival. I mean, yes, there's some of that too, but because that's going to be necessary. But that's not all there is. My preferred form is societal prepping. What happens next? How do we rebuild? How do we create a new society from the ashes of the old one? So, in that case, yes, cartography is going to become very, very important. And so I've got books of several different varieties of different forms of mapping and navigation, and these are good. One of them is actually written for children, and it's just how to map out your local area and kind of play around with how to design and make maps. And I don't discount that one in any way, because that is the part one, step one, easy, dumbed down version. And then I've got it up to mapping out constellations. I've got it mapping out your position based on the stars. I've got several different things that I can use to just kind of learn navigation, and I am studying up on them now, because here's the other thing. I preach, write everything down. I preach, collect it all, have a hard copy, don't trust digital. Okay, also don't trust those hard copies. Get it in here. This is the only thing nobody can take away from you. When they do take your head away, when they do take your mind away, you're not there anymore anyway, so it's irrelevant. So what happens inside your head is what they can't take from you. Your own skill set, your own knowledge. Study, train, get all the information in here. Then also have a hard copy to review. But the most important library you can own is the one that happens inside your head. Another thing to consider is that you might not even want to follow roads, even if they are okay, even if they are not closed, no obvious barricade in your way or obstacle or anything like that. You might not want to follow roads because they are an obvious path, usually out in the open. They put you in danger of people waiting down the line to take what you've got. Roads can be their own kind of danger because you are not in cover when you are on the road. So, if your plan is to take a vehicle long distance, again, I don't think that's a great plan, but it's a plan, and if it's the best you've got, then it's the best you've got, and go with it. It's better than nothing. But I'd say the shortest distance you can go from point A to point B is your best. The most cover you can go is the best. The least noise you can make is the best. The quickest you can move is the best. So some of these are going to have to contradict others, and you're just going to have to go with the best you can do. But you don't want to be traveling for long. You don't want to be traveling in the open. You don't want to be traveling in a way that makes you more obvious to your attacker than they are to you. You want to have the upper hand. You want to have the advantage of knowing where somebody else is before they know where you are. And I'm not talking about attacking other people. I'm talking about preventative action, making sure they don't attack you. Stealth and quickness are key. So, you need to know what it is that you're doing, where you're going, how to get there without being seen or heard, and how to get there quickly. I know this hasn't been very helpful on the how to navigate spectrum, but here's the deal. All of my videos are just to pose questions. I expect you to go do the studying on your own. I am not sharing everything I've got, and I don't expect you to share everything you've got. I expect that we as preppers help each other in ways that don't hurt ourselves. And so I'm not going to do a whole bunch of different lectures on how to navigate. I'm not going to do a whole bunch of lectures on how to do whatever or show off everything I've got or anything like that, because ultimately in the end, you might be my competition. I don't know. I don't know you, and you don't know me. So, the way we can help each other by removing competition is by just kind of helping each other think of new ways to expand our information. But you've got to take it as your personal goal to go out and gather this information and teach yourself. And we can work together. And I'm about working with other preppers, but I don't openly hand that out. Now over to Mason McCartney with your prepper tip of the week.
Alright guys, thanks for having me back. I know I have y'all in a weird position situation here. I'm going to teach you guys how to make a compass real quick using a needle that I have that's in the paracord that is on my boots, a leaf, and a magnet. Guys, don't fret about magnets. Most of the time, any of your packs that you take out have magnets, like as a snap or something like that. Or you can just put it in your EDC kit. Take one end of the magnet, of the needle. I always take the actual point to it. Slide the magnet. So you want to slide it about 30 times. I always do it a couple extra just to give it a... Now it's magnetized, so it's going to follow magnetic north, right? Take your leaf. Okay. And this is going to act a little bit different, guys, because the whole bowl that I have everything in, the whole bowl is metal, right? Stainless steel. So, but you have a good shot of that, I think. Let's see here. Get up above it, and you can watch it turn. And once it stops, because it's suspended, it's going to be pointing to magnetic north. And it should be pointing straight back at me, and it is. Alright guys, yeah, that's basically a quick 30-second tutorial on how to make sure you have a compass and a way out. So, back to you guys. Talk to you later.
So thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, hit that like button. If you dislike it, hit that dislike button. Please tell me what you think in the comments below, and let's carry on this conversation and help each other think up new things that we might need to know when we no longer have YouTube as a way to discuss it with each other. So let's hop right on, becoming more of a community, talking to each other, sharing, and growing together to help us prepare for what might happen next, because we never know what this world is going to look like tomorrow. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Thank you so much. That's all I got for you today. Bye.